After a fresh install of Precision3D Hydro 2023, particularly if it's a first install, there are a lot of settings to consider addressing and changing, and we will now go through a few of these. Let's go to the program. It's loaded right here. A typical new install is going to default to the existing ground NOAA generic storm, which can be reviewed with this particular button to the right of the NOAA icon under Object Commands. And if I edit that, you can see it has durations through 100-year, durations in minutes down the left column, and return periods 1 year to 100-year, rainfall intensity per hour, and you can load your own storm, which we can go into. We have others that you can obtain. One of the first things you should consider is getting on the coordinate system. You can see in the lower left of the screen here, we have a northing of 416,824, easting of 1.77 million. This happens to be in Kentucky, and the projection is Kentucky North. So if you go to Tools, Settings, you can set your projection. And you can do this by just actually typing Kentucky, and you start to see the various projections come in just from the clue of the first few letters you type, and we're going to select Kentucky North feet, US. And with that selected, you can then go to the NOAA, and if you're on the internet, you can download the projection for this particular tin where it's located. And that immediately fills out in your Property Explorer for your rational storm type. And then that particular rainfall event can be found and examined, and you can see it's slightly different values than the generic e.g. NOAA. So that's one to consider. Another one is if we actually want to change our method of calculation of the time of concentration, you can see if I hover by hydro method, you can see that the formulas used are presented. You can pull this down, and the method that is recommended, for example, by the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for Kentucky is using TR55 for shallow concentrated and channel flow, and kinematic wave for the sheet flow portion. So we're going to set that up. If you wanted to examine a 50-year storm, pull this option down, the return period, and now you can actually run the storm, and in a few seconds on this particular example, based on these land covers that you see here, asphaltic roads and buildings and concrete retaining walls, etc., you will get ponds drawn wherever water would pool up from this site that has no culverts in place and other aspects. But notice that we did not get water in this sort of artifact left over from RoadNet, where we have a little dammed up area that we'd like to eliminate later. But that's because of another default setting that you can examine associated with your storm. Automatic overview is the default. We want to change this to manual, and this is a very shallow dammed up area, and unless it was over 3 feet deep, it would not even appear. We want it to appear. So we're going to change that to 0.4. Pond volume to isolate, we're going to change that to 1,000. Isolate a watershed. And minimum pond volume to appear, we'll pull that down to 100. Between these two, we ought to be able to see this pond when we recalculate. And now we're going to run that storm event. So if you want to see the tiny puddles that might indicate you need to improve your DTM, you need to dial down these values that appear by default for the minimum settings for ponds even to appear following a calculation. This lightning bolt is the key to this process, and there is the pooled up water, and we have this pond appearing now, and that helps us identify where we have ponding areas that need to be addressed. These are just a few of the configuration items that you should examine right after a fresh install.